And welcome back to the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity. We're talking with Stephen Reb today all about human design. So this guy, will refer to him as Ra, had this divine inspiration, let's say.
He actually can go to YouTube. It's called Encounter with the Voice.
Ooh,
he calls it The Voice.
The Voice, okay.
That's the best way to describe it.
Encounter with the Voice on YouTube.
Yes.
YouTube it, people. I'll actually I'll post the link to it on the Talking Alternative fan page later. So he had this encounter with the Voice, came up with the system over 8 days. But then it actually, he came up with more. I mean, more stuff was revealed over time to him, right? I mean,
no, it was all in that 8 days.
Everything was in the 8 days.
Oh yeah, it was focused and concentrated.
Wow. So I'm wondering also, because you've had you've been involved with this for a long time, so you had a very strong sort of experience with human design yourself when you first had a chart done. But what sort of got you to say, you know what, I want to do this. I want to be a human design practitioner and use this to help other people?
Well, when you find out the answers to how everything works, it's hard to look elsewhere.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, he answered all the big questions. They're all answered through the system. I mean, I took 3 years of cosmology.
Wow.
And it's just... Like what was amazing is like he would teach a whole section of the information and you think, wow, like people get a reading, they think they've heard everything in a sense. Right. But he would do that whole thing and you think you got it all, and then he would start a new course, a new level, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know anything. There's this whole other layer that's so impactful on top of whatever I already knew, that without knowing this, like when he revealed the health side of human design. The first 8, see, you can't become who you are until you stop being who you're not.
Yeah.
And in the first 18 years of this information, he taught everything about what you're not, being what you're open to, what you're being conditioned by, because you have to understand what you're dealing with before you can really embrace the source. Otherwise, you're constantly being washed over by the overriding percentage that is not you. It's not bad. It's just not you. It's other people. It's what you're connecting to. And then once he got into the health portion, that was like a whole new world. Like I started in 99, and he didn't reveal anything about health or psychology until 06.
Really?
And so in those first 7 years, you think you got it. But then when I got my health information, my nutrition information, and I started to apply it, and I saw the physical, I went through a massive physical transformation.
Wow.
Real physical.
So even though he didn't reveal this over years, he actually got it all in just 8 days?
I like to say, we watched him write the book, and he couldn't reveal it unless he had students. Unless there was somebody to teach it to, it didn't come out. So with students, and I was one of this like group of 20 that kind of tried to take almost everything that he offered. We were the ones that consistently came to his class.
Gotcha. Now he's no longer among us, is he?
He died on the day of Fukushima.
Oh, really?
In March of 2011.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Okay, so let's let's give our audience like some more details so that they can kind of get a better sense of what it's like to receive a human design, or what they'll learn about themselves in a human design. So if you want to use me as the guinea pig, go ahead. So based on my birth time and date, I was born here in New York City. I'm not going to say when, but I was born here in New York City a long time ago.
18 what?
1873.
Awesome. Wow, that's awesome. What does it say about you? Well, you're a mess. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But you are. No, I'm just kidding.
So what about...
Well, actually, what's interesting is that you are on this cross of what's called the Sleeping Phoenix.
The cross of the Sleeping Phoenix.
And it's really, you actually have the chart of what's coming. This is this is the theme of post 2027 when we actually have a theme change in humanity. And that's what we're all feeling. Actually, we're feeling a cycle change. It's not the end. It's just there's a major shift that's right on our doorstep. We're already in it.
Right.
You know, you just watch the newspapers, just watch
Yeah,
about
yeah.
war and cancer and autism and food and sex, and everything's going like we're like Rome. It's just about, we're just on the tipping point.
Right. Well, why
and you-
2027?
We're there's the thematics of what cycle the world is in, and we're in this 412-year cycle that started in 1615, and it ends in 2027.
No.
So everything that we have today began then.
Is that based on a position of one of the outer planets or something?
That's just the global cycle.
The global cycle. Okay.
We're in these global cycles, and so this is the theme, or the theme.
So,
so
Cross of
you
the
actually
Sleeping Phoenix.
represent what's coming in that sense. You know, I think part of why you do this kind of futuristic awareness kind of work, because we are here becoming more aware.
Right.
You know, it's about our aura. We have our skin, but there's this outer skin that's, you know, your personal space, if you'd like to
Right.
call it,
Right.
that we make connection to, and that's where we're becoming much more sensitive
Yeah.
to that, this genetic exchange of information that we're all sharing.
Right.
And so you kind of represent this, you know, burning it down to rise out from it, which is what the Sleeping Phoenix is all about. And what it says about you is, I mean, human design is simple. It's designed for mothers to raise their children. So the information's presented very direct and very simple. So what it says about you is you're here to allow yourself to wait to respond to life.
Okay.
And you have a sacral, you have this built-in noise maker down in you, and it makes noises. It goes aha and and you're here to pay attention to your noises. Train your mind to hear your sounds. Thank you. Right there. That's it. That was your body speaking. Now, the mind is painfully unaware of these sounds because we were taught to use our words and stop making noises as soon as we could talk.
Right.
So that muscle has been an atrophy for almost all of us since then. And we've been taught to use our minds to figure things out, and the mind is never a place of decisions. And then on top of that, you're an emotional being. And emotional beings live in a wave. They go up and down. We call it the hope to pain wave, from hope to pain and back again. And it's just that you're constantly, you know, in a sense, most of the time you're underwater, blah, 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 blah. You know, and then all of a sudden you peek through the surface, to the surface, you gulp some air and you go, oh, okay, now I see what's correct for me. The clarity emerges in that moment, and then you go right back to being underwater. And this is our lives for emotional beings. That's half the population. 50% of us are emotional, putting out emotions. The other half are taking in emotions, reflecting them. And the ones that take it in are the ones that appear to be emotional. And the ones that are emotional don't appear to be emotional.
See, that's interesting because my wife always appears to be much more emotional than I am. I'm the one who appears to be, you know, much more calm and even keeled.
Yeah, but it's a mirror. She's a mirror of wherever you are if you're alone with together. You know, what we would say, and she is open emotional, right? In her
Yes.
chart. So,
so.
what we would say about you as a couple, that you should only have private conversations in public places.
Okay.
Because she's always a mirror of wherever you are. So if you're having this private conversation alone, then you're going to she's only going to mirror where you are. But if you're out in public and there's other auras around that she's in 2 to 4 arm lengths distance to, and they're emotionally defined, then she can like borrow their emotional energy to kind of even the playing field with you. And they're not making emotional demands on her.
Right.
So she needs that evenness in order to maybe really express where she is in truth, not just mirror you.
Okay. Gotcha.
So there's, you know, it's just
So what are the different things on the body graph that you're looking at? What are these different aspects, different fields? Like,
well, when you look at a chart, your eyes always go, as an analyst, right to, are they a generator or not?
okay.
Which is the sacral center,
Okay.
which is the life-giving motor.
Right.
It's the ovaries and the testes. Men and women are vibrated at different frequency. Otherwise, we're exactly the same. So this is the first place we look at in terms of who's a generator and who's not, who's vibrating and who not. Generators are the only aura that has a vibration frequency to it. The other 3 types, manifestors, projectors, and reflectors, don't vibrate. They're still. Manifestors have energy. They are here to initiate action, but they don't vibrate. So we separate who's vibrating from who's not vibrating.
Okay, so but you said I'm a manifesting generator, which means I have two aspects together.
Right, which means that you actually have a motor connected to the throat, but you also have a sacral defined. So if you have the sacral defined and there's no motor connected to the throat, you're a generator. But if you have a sacral defined and either the sacral itself or the ego or the emotional system or the root connected up through the spleen to the throat, that would make you a manifesting generator, which means that you're here to wait to respond. Listen, follow that response where it takes you, and then allow that wave to go through its process. And once you're clear, then you can go ahead and manifest it. You don't need to be asked again.
Right.
Then you can go do it. So it's like, do you want to play tennis? Okay. That's a clear sacral response. Now you can go play tennis.
Right.
Manifesting generators move faster than generators. They skip steps. We always say to manifesting generators, always work from a list. Because you want to know what you can, but more importantly, what you cannot skip. So you don't have to be told to go back and redo something, because that's not at all on the table for the manifesting generator. They say, screw it, I'm going on to the next thing.
Right. And just so our audience knows that I've picked up on a lot of this stuff because me and Stephen actually first met like 6-7 years ago before he left New York City, and he did my human design chart back then. I don't even remember how I found out about it.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, I know I found you through the website.
Oh, okay.
And you were listed as one of the practitioners. I just happened to pick and contacted you, and you said, "You're lucky you caught me. I'm leaving next week for California." I was like your last
New York client. Yeah, 08.
Right, 08. So it's
almost 10 years, 9 years.
Almost 9 years. But I remember you said, listen to the So ever since then, and I've listened to that recording many times since. So that's why you'll hear me, I do that even a lot on my radio show because I paid attention to what you said 8 years ago.
Excellent. It's sunk in. I'm impressed.
The body got it.
Yeah, well, it's the body's life. See, the first 7 years of human design, if you enter in, is to decondition, is to let go. It's a genetic learning. It's not a mental learning process.
Right.
And so, and what I love about doing readings is to watch people watch the freedom come out of them. They just seem to be, this weight gets lifted in the first reading because you get exactly what you need in order to go out in the world and start your experiment.
Right.
And to see the liberation of the body, because the body's been waiting to be liberated because the mind has trapped it for its whole life.
Okay, we just got like 30 seconds before we go to break. One other quick thing that you see there that you want to mention.
Well, see, where you're open, what you're prone to is trying to be spontaneous.
Okay.
So you have an open spleen, an open immune system. Actually, to holding on to, watch out what you hold on to, and watch out what you let go of. Because the immune system is here to keep you alive in the now. But when you're open, there's fears that you may suffer that don't belong to you. Like fear of yesterday.
Oh, fear of yesterday. Interesting.
Fear of the past.
Okay. Let's hold it there. When we come back, believe it or not, it's our last segment coming up. We'll
so fast.
Yes, so fast. We'll talk a little bit more about how this can help you, and we'll end up the show. We'll give you how to get in touch with Stephen. So everybody, please stay tuned. You're listening to the Conscious Consultant Hour, and we'll be right back.